Hi there, it's Kira with Polymer Clay TV, and today I am going to show you how to go from this metal necklace form to this. It's a pretty lightweight collar that was made completely on the quick color necklace form, and I'm just going to show you real quick how to do that. It's so fun and easy. Let's get started. Today I'm going to work with this quick color necklace form, and it's metal, which means you can bake right on it. And it might seem a little small. To me, when I looked at it, it seems small, but it actually fits really nicely right around my neck. So I'm going to show you how to use that, and I decided to make this summertime necklace with some birds and flowers, and I've got Sculpey Souffle in pistachio is my base color. I've got Sunset Pearl and Peacock Pearl for the flower and birds. I have my Essential Metallic color palette, and I'm going to use texturing tools. So I pulled out the flower and the leaf stamp from this set of texture tools. And the first thing I'm going to do is remove the findings from this because I'm going to use it as a baking form only. I'm not going to actually keep it inside once the clay has been cured. So I'm just going to remove the jump ring and lobster claw, which you could absolutely attach these to your clay afterwards and use them, or you can use them on some other necklace, but I don't want them in my way while I'm actually designing the piece, so I'm going to take them off. And I'm just closing the rings so I don't lose them. So the first thing that we need to do is roll out the base clay and attach it to the collar. I've conditioned my clay and rolled it out to the second setting on my pasta machine, which is still quite thick. And I'm keeping it in two pieces, and I think that you'll appreciate this. You don't have to make it in one piece unless you're really looking to challenge yourself. Okay, so I'm going to just put it over, make sure that I've got enough clay to cover from the middle all the way out to the end, and I'm going to press it onto the metal gently and form it around those curves. I want it to make contact. And then I'm going to use a blade, a metal blade. This one's a little bit more flexible and gentle, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut along the edge of that metal. And just trim it. And then I'll use my finger to gently round out that edge. That's one important thing. You don't want to leave your edges sharp when you cut them with your blade, because then it's uncomfortable to wear later on. So just remember to do that. All right, and then I'm going to go around the other edge. And just take it easy and be careful. You don't want to cut yourself by accident. With this necklace form, we have a decision to make. I am going to actually cut it here and remove the other side, because I'm going to come along this side and do exactly the same thing, and then just smooth my seam together. And you also have to decide if you want to leave this area solid or cut it out. And I like that cut out, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I think it's going to look interesting on my finished piece. Now, some of the necklace forms are solid, and some have this V cut out. And you can decide what you want to do. And of course, if you have a solid one, then you get to decide if you want to do your own shapes. And then what my texture tools are for is to make a design on here. So I've got this flower. And the cool thing now is that you can design right on the metal and use it for support. So you can make some really nice deep impressions. I've got a flower and a leaf. And then of course as you go up you'll have less room, so you get to decide which direction you want everything to go. And maybe as we get down here I don't have room for flowers anymore, so I'll just do more of the leaf. That looks nice already, and I haven't even added anything to it. So I just wanted to show you what the metal powders were for. So this one has a really pretty green gold. That's one of my favorite colors. And I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this design with that green gold color. Just up to about there, because next I'm going to put some flying birds on here and I want raw clay for them to stick to. So don't powder the whole thing if you're going to be adding more clay. So I'm just going to let that fade out. Isn't this nifty? It's kind of cool. It means that I don't have to go digging for my colors because they're right there and they're stuck in this palette, so I don't tip them over. Okay, so I'm just going to do the other side. Next we will cut out our birds and flower and put them on the collar, which I've done both sides now, and I've pressed the seams together in the middle there. So when I'm using my 3D printed cutters, I like to put a piece of plastic wrap over my clay, because 3D cutters tend to have ridges on them. That's how they're made. So they're not completely smooth like a metal cutter would be, but they are seamless, so you don't have to deal with that. So it's a trade-off. So if you do it on a Teflon sheet and then you put your piece of plastic over it, what you get is a really nice rounded edge, if you can see what's going on there. It's like softly rounded. That's because of the wrap. And then I use my rubber tool to just clean up any edge that might be left there. And then it's really easy to just peel this right off your piece of Teflon so that you can place it on your necklace. Just like that. And then you can clean it up a little if you have to. And of course, I'm thinking about stamping it with some of these fun textures and things because I have them, so why not? There's a set of 20 different designs that you can get, and they do all kinds of fun things. Like this one has a couple sizes of this, which is perfect for flower petals. And then I'm gonna sort of cup this and put it right in the middle here. And none of my clay is baked yet, so this is all gonna stick really well when I go ahead and put it in the oven. Sorry about that. So what I was thinking while I was making this is that I would make some little balls to do the flower center out of this green color. And then I'll use pigment powders to highlight them with a different color to make them stand out. So this necklace is going to feature 3 colors with a bunch of metallic and mica kind of accents, and 3 is a really good number when you're designing. There's 3 elements. There's the collar itself, a flower, and a bird. There's the green, the blue, and the sunset color. So think about 3. Odd numbers are always a good way to design. They make a nice looking design. So here are the birds, and I've got some of my other metal tools, and I was thinking maybe I could make the suggestion of an eye with this round one. And I'm gonna use the same flower, and I'm gonna just put it on its belly. And I'm doing it now, not on the necklace, because I know I have more room here to design and to put pigments and things so that I don't, that got stuck. You can wet this if you want to. A lot of times I'll dip it in a little water before pressing it. And then I've got some other little things here to give the sort of suggestion of feathers maybe on the wings. Yeah. This one looks like a little U shape. And then this one is like a little mini shell kind of a thing, so just a little bit back here on the tail. And really the only reason I'm doing this is so that when I put powdered pigments on here, you'll see them. Because of the, let me think, because there's a little texture, so I can highlight it a little bit, and the powdered pigments help that texture to really show up. So you can just do what you want. There's no real formula for working with polymer clay, just have fun. And then we'll just peel these guys off of here gently and place them on the collar. And you don't have to push too hard. As long as you're making good contact with the polymer underneath, it's going to stick in the baking process. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so now right on the metal, this whole thing is going to pop right into the oven for half an hour at 275 Fahrenheit. We are out of the oven, and as you can see, maybe I forgot to put the powdered pigments on the center of the flower there, so I added some copper, and then what I thought it could use was a little bit more definition on the bird's eyeballs. So what I did is I dipped my tool in the copper powder and I just pressed it in there to bring out the little birdie eyes. So it's cool, and we're going to just gently pop it off of the metal. And you will notice that polymer clay, if you properly cure it, is still flexible after baking, and that's good for jewelry because you want it to flex with your body when you're wearing it rather than crack and break. So you can see here that you've got the connections with lots of clay touching the different parts of the necklace. And now how you finish it is really up to you. There are so many ways to decide how you want to do this. You can put another layer of clay in here, maybe silk screen it or stamp it or something, and just attach it and bake it one more time. And if you wanted to, you could attach findings at this point as well. So how I would do that is I would have my piece of clay that was going to be on the back, and you would just take your jump ring and embed it between the two pieces of clay and then bake it. So you could have your extender chain on one side and your clasp or whatever you want to use to hold it shut on the other, and just put it between your already baked clay and another piece of fresh clay and throw that back in the oven. And then if you wanted to support it back in that shape while you bake it a second time, you can of course just gently lay it on the metal, because your metal can be baked as many times as you want. You can keep this form forever and just keep making necklaces. Of course, this is really rough, and that, you know, I would make it look nicer than that, but that's the idea. And you know, you can make it so that the inside is plain, so that it's decorated, however you wanted to do it. Or you could have made holes. See, this form has holes in it. You could have made holes there and just attached your jump rings and things directly to the clay and be done with it. Or this actually fits my neck so well that I feel like I don't need findings, so I could just slip it on and wear it. And it's very lightweight, it's flexible, so it'll sit nicely around your neck. It's got a nice shape to it. And I would really love to see what you make. We have the Polymer Clay Tribe that you can find at polymerclaytribe.com, where everybody shows their work and shares different ideas that they have, different techniques. So we'd love to see what you made. And if you're not part of the tribe, you can always email us a picture of what you make, because we do have a monthly magazine called Polymer Clay Universe, and we like to publish photos and tutorials from people around the web who like to make things out of polymer clay. So don't be afraid to submit to that. And I hope you really enjoyed creating with me today, and we'll see you next week on Polymer Clay TV.